Hello everyone, this is AlGamer47 here, and today I'm going to be doing a book reading series starting with The Street Lawyer by John Grisham. And I will be doing several videos, and each video will be one chapter at a time, so please like and subscribe if you wish to hear more of me reading this book. So let us begin. Chapter 1. The man with the rubber boots stepped into the elevator behind me, but I didn't see him at first. I smelled him, though, and the pungent odor of smoke and cheap wine and life on the street without soap. We were alone as we moved upward, and when I finally glanced over, I saw the boots, black and dirty, much too large. A frayed and tattered trench coat fell to his knees. Under it, layers of foul clothing bunched around his midsection, so that he appeared stocky, almost fat. But it wasn't from being well fed. In the wintertime in D.C., the street people wear everything they own, or so it seems. He was black and aging, his beard and hair were half gray, and hadn't been washed or cut in years. He looked straight ahead through thick sunglasses, thoroughly ignoring me, and making me wonder for a second why, exactly, was I inspecting him. He didn't belong. It was not his building, not his elevator, not a place he could afford. The lawyers on all 8 floors worked for my firm at hourly rates that still seem obscene to me even after 7 years. Just another street bum in from the cold. Happened all the time in downtown Washington, but we had security guards to deal with the riffraff. We stopped at 6, and I noticed for the first time that he had not pushed the button, had not selected a floor. He was following me. I made a quick exit as I stepped into the splendid marble foyer of Draken's Sweeney. I glanced over my shoulder just long enough to see him standing in the elevator, looking at nothing, still ignoring me. Madame Deviere, one of our resilient receptionists, greeted me with her typical look of disdain. "Watch the elevator," I said. "Why?" "Street bum. You may want to call security." "Those people," she said in her affected French accent. "Get some disinfectant, too." I walked away, wrestling my overcoat over my shoulders, forgetting the man with the rubber boots. I had non-stop meetings throughout the afternoon, important conferences with important people. I turned the corner and was about to say something to Polly, my secretary, when I heard the first shot. Madame Deviere was standing behind her desk, petrified, staring into the barrel of an awfully long handgun held by her pal, the street bum. Since I was the first one to come to her aid, he politely aimed at me, and I too became rigid. Don't shoot," I said, hands in the air. I'd seen enough movies to know precisely what to do. "Shut up," he mumbled, with a great deal of composure. There were voices in the hallway behind me. Someone yelled, "He's got a gun!" And then the voices disappeared into the background, growing fainter and fainter as my colleagues hit the back door. I could almost see them jumping out the windows. To my immediate left was a heavy wooden door that led to a large conference room, which at that moment happened to be filled with 8 lawyers from our litigation section. 8 hard-nosed and fearless litigators who spent their hours chewing up people. The toughest was a scrappy little torpedo named Rafter, and as he yanked open the door saying, "What the hell?" the barrel swung from me to him, and the man with the rubber boots had exactly what he wanted. "Put that gun down," Rafter ordered from the doorway, and a split second later, another shot rang through the reception area, a shot that went into the ceiling somewhere well above Rafter's head and reduced him to a mere mortal. Turning the gun back to me, he nodded, and I complied, entered the conference room behind Rafter. The last thing I saw on the outside was Madame Deviere shaking at her desk, terror-stricken, head set around her neck, high heels parked neatly next to her wastebasket. The man with the rubber boots slammed the door behind me and slowly waved the gun through the air so that all 8 litigators could admire it. It seemed to be working fine. The smell of its discharge was more noticeable than the odor of its owner. The room was dominated by a long table, covered with documents and papers that only seconds ago seemed terribly important. A row of windows overlooked a parking lot. Two doors led to the hallway. Up against the wall, he said, using the gun as a very effective prop. Then he placed it very near my head and said, "Lock the doors," which I did. Not a word from the 8 litigators as they scrambled backward. Not a word from me as I quickly locked the doors, then looked at him for approval. For some reason, I kept thinking of the post office and all those horrible shootings. A disgruntled employee returns after lunch with an arsenal and wipes out 15 of his two co-workers. I thought of the playground massacres and the slaughters of fast food restaurants. And those victims were innocent children and otherwise decent citizens. We were a bunch of lawyers. Using a series of grunts and gun thrusts, he lined the 8 litigators up against the wall, and when their positions suited him, he returned his attention to me. What did he want? Could he ask questions? If so, he could get anything he damned well pleased. I couldn't see his eyes because of the sunglasses, but he could see mine. The gun was pointed at them. And I'm afraid I will have to end it here because I'm using my phone to record this video and I'm almost out of space. So unfortunately, we still have a few pages to go before the end of the chapter, but I promise you I will upload another video tomorrow. And again, please like and subscribe, and thank you so much for listening, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.